Hey there, you, me, and DC fans, and welcome if you're new. I am the Stepson of Krypton, coming to you today with Batman issue number 2. Now, guys, I will say we've been doing a lot of comic books and stuff here lately, and there really hasn't been a comic book that within the first issue immediately just I was like, I'm hooked. I want to know more. I got to have the next issue. Then there's been with this Batman. So definitely really, really excited for the series. I hope you guys are as well too. Check it out. But I don't want to waste any more time. Let's just go ahead and get on into it. All right, guys. So issue number 2, we start off, we're back in the past, and we see Bruce, he's talking to Tim, and we see Damian, and he's washing the old iconic Tim Burton Batmobile. I absolutely loved seeing this. It was amazing. Uh, but he's getting to wash it. He's not exactly too happy about it. And I think it's interesting that we have all the Robins there too, right? No, well, all we got a couple of them, right? We got Tim and we've got Damian. So we see Tim and Bruce, and they're talking about Tim getting his first driving lesson. Of course, he thinks he's going to get to drive the Batmobile, which his hopes are quickly dashed as we see a tarp get pulled and there's an old pickup truck. It then dramatically cuts to a much darker now current time, and we're seeing the mean streets of Gotham and a truck being stopped apparently to be robbed, and one of the robbers shoots the man in the truck. And I will say his buddies, they don't seem too happy by what he did, as this was not the job. Suddenly, Robin appears and he quickly takes down the thieves, all the while trying to coin himself a nice little catchphrase. He's got some work to do on it though. And Robin's feeling pretty good about himself. He goes to check out the drugs that they were stealing, only to find out that it's baby formula. And one of the main robbers there, his baby is just always hungry. So maybe things aren't exactly what they seem. And of course, it's at this point that the Gotham PD shows up, and they've got the guns pointed at Robin, which is where we left off at the end of the last issue, because he's trying to say, he's contacted Batman saying, "Hey, do we have any friends left?" And the main robber takes off, and he is shot by the cop. Robin's pissed that they just shot this guy. He was, just trying to get baby formula, but either way, he wasn't posing any threat, and he was just trying to escape. So there was no reason to shoot him. And he releases some of his bat gadgets. We see the bat bang, the little smoke bombs, and then he kind of like leaps up the building there, and we see that it's the bat boots, right? And I love this is part of what grabs me with this series is I love seeing those little infographics about the technology they're using. And it looks like he's going to get away, but as he gets up to the real high, we see the blood splatter, and they say, "Got him. He's been shot." Very next page, we immediately flash back to Tim doing his best to try to drive a manual transmission, which, that's what, at least for my generation, that's what we grew up learning to drive back in the days. You learned to drive a manual first. So, and just then, Damien jumps on the hood trying to scare Tim. Now, we go immediately back to current times. Robin is cuffed and thrown in the back of the paddy wagon, still bleeding from his gunshot. And there's a whole group of people back there with him, and they're people he kind of helped capture. So I'm sure everything's going to be fine, though. The guards outside the truck are discussing the impending trip to jail and just how rough of a ride it will be. Even though Robin is in there with 8 unarmed gangbangers and is shot, and his hands are cuffed behind his back. Needless to say, it is a bit of a bumpy ride, and it's not just because of the potholes. Certain people don't fare so well on this trip. Spoiler alert, it's not Robin. And just as it seems Robin is doing okay, the driver has other plans in mind as he kind of drifts, or I guess as close as you can do to drifting in like a 10,000-pound armored vehicle. But it's enough for Robin to snap his cuffs. Focused on the fact that now Robin is free back there, the two of the officers up front, they kind of fail to notice the bat spikes. We get another infographic that have been laid out across the road, and then boom, Batman, we see finally retracting the spikes, and then he opens the door to find Robin just kind of hanging out around a bunch of unconscious thugs. He says,
Rope tight.
the guards up front, they quickly come around to the back, and they're holding both Batman and Robin at gunpoint. However, one of the officers seems to side with the Cape Crusaders, and there's his partner, old Eddie, there doesn't like that, even pointing the gun at his partner. His partner's trying to say they're on the same side. However, Batman is quick to point out that with police brutality and murder, they're now on opposite sides. And Eddie points the shotgun at Batman. Surprisingly, the other officer points his gun at his partner. Then, boom, multiple firing going on. We see the shotgun blast. We see Batman, and he's blocking it with his cape. Although we do see the bottom half of the officer looks like he got hit. We do know that the officer got shot with the shotgun. Robin quickly takes the gun from the other officer and dismantles it. So it is a big chaotic mess. So Eddie's down, having been shot by his partner. The other officer's down with some potentially serious injuries, although the armor seems to have gotten most of it. But Batman goes to walk away, and Eddie kind of in his last, ditch effort, he shoots Batman right in the back of the head with the shotgun. And that's enough for that. We got to go back to the past for a little bit and take a break from that craziness. Bruce is talking to Tim about his driving lesson and how he's getting so far in his own head that it's causing him to fail. And Tim confesses his biggest worry is going to be there's going to be a time he needs to drive the Batmobile and to save people, and he won't be able to. Little foreshadowing, knowing what just happened to Batman in the present time. We see Batman, and even the text boxes are kind of coming in a little blurry. They're not all the way there. Robin's looking a little blurry, and obviously he's dazed and confused. Hopefully, some of you get that. He got his bell rung pretty good. The other officer is laying there, seemingly in somewhat stable condition, maybe thanks to the bat bandages, which are, it says there's a pressure dressing with a wound sealant and some coagulant. And he's saying, Eddie, I'm sorry, because we see Eddie, and it does not look like he made it. Robin helps carry Batman to the Batmobile, and it looks like the time has come for Robin to actually have to drive it. Ironically, both have been shot and really aren't in the condition to drive. Now, I will say when you see this current Batmobile, we can tell it is definitely a newer version than the old classic Tim Burton Batmobile that we were seeing at the beginning of this issue. As Robin gears up, no pun intended, to drive the Batmobile, he looks at the gear shift and is immediately overwhelmed, asking Batman, how many gears does the Batmobile actually have? 13, Batman says. Why would you need 13 gears? Of course, simple answer. 9 are standard, 3 are quantum gears for spatio-temporal events dealing with space-time, and 1 is a secret gear. And I can't wait to see that one in action. Batman really does have the coolest car in the world. As they're driving, we see the news stories popping up on little panels about the shootings, the escaped criminals, and we hear Commissioner Savage is going to make a statement. Savage arrives on scene and is not thrilled with the reporters, ordering his men to break their cameras and the journalists themselves. Eddie, the cop that got shot by his partner, and he's the one that shot Batman, is confirmed dead, while his partner is in critical condition. Savage addresses the GCPD, telling them that the previous leadership may have let Batman and Robin run around as vigilantes, but he will not. They are now considered enemies of the Gotham City Police Department. And that's where this issue ends. All right, guys, like I said, I am really, really loving this new start of a Batman series. I love that we got to see the older kind of like the what I grew up with Batman. We saw the Bruce with and the Tim Burton looking Batmobile. And now we've got the new one. We've got Tim there as Robin. We know Damian, obviously his son is there. And there's hopefully at some point we're going to get a Nightwing and a new Robin going on. I'm excited for where this series can go. I hope you guys are as well. Let me know down in the comments, how are you feeling about this Batman series? I know we're only 2 issues in, and for a lot of our other comics, it's taken a little while for them to kind of get going. So let me know what you thought down there. And if you have made it with me this far, consider giving this video a like, subscribing to the channel, and having the bell notifications clicked so you will get alerted as I continue to do this series. If you guys actually really enjoy it, we've got everything going on in the Absolute universe as well as the Justice League Unlimited, the new DC KO event, just a 24 issue event crossover with tie-ins to other comics that is going to be happening as well. If you have your bell notifications clicked, you will get notified when that takes place, guys. And that is going to wrap it for me on this issue of You, Me, and DC. Until next time, guys, I'll see you then.